Why are scientists today proving ideas that ancient civilizations lived by thousands of years ago? Long before brain scans, laboratories, or artificial intelligence, ancient thinkers carefully observed human behavior, emotion, and suffering. They didn't rely on technology, they relied on attention. What they discovered wasn't superstition, it was pattern recognition grounded in lived experience. Modern science is now catching up, translating those same insights into neurological, psychological, and biological terms. In this countdown, we're exploring 10 ancient teachings that modern science now confirms as real, measurable, and effective. These ideas survived centuries because they work on how the human mind and body actually function. As we move closer to number 1, the overlap between ancient wisdom and modern science becomes impossible to ignore. Number 10, stillness improves mental clarity. Ancient traditions treated stillness as mental training, not inactivity. Meditation and silence were used to calm mental noise and sharpen awareness. Ancient practitioners noticed that constant thinking weakened clarity and increased emotional reactivity. Modern neuroscience now confirms this. Brain imaging shows that regular stillness reduces activity in regions linked to overthinking and stress. Attention becomes steadier, and emotional regulation improves. Ancient teachers didn't need machines to observe this. They experienced it directly. Stillness created space between thoughts, allowing better judgment and focus. This teaching rewires the mind by slowing reactive patterns. You don't escape reality, you engage with it more clearly. What ancient wisdom framed as inner discipline, science now explains as nervous system regulation and attention training. Number 9. The mind influences the body. Ancient healing systems consistently taught that mental states affect physical health. Stress, fear, and unresolved emotion were believed to weaken the body. Modern medicine now agrees. Research shows chronic stress suppresses immunity, increases inflammation, and disrupts hormonal balance. Ancient traditions didn't use scientific language, but they observed the same outcomes. When the mind stayed in survival mode, the body suffered. Practices like breath control, meditation, and reflection were designed to calm the nervous system. Today, those same methods are recommended for stress-related illness. The ancient insight was simple but powerful. Mind and body are not separate systems. Science didn't disprove this idea, it confirmed it. Number 8. Breath regulates emotion. Eastern traditions taught breath control as a direct way to calm the mind. Ancient practitioners observed that slow, steady breathing reduced anxiety and emotional instability. Modern physiology now explains why. Controlled breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, lowering heart rate and stress hormones. This happens in real time. Ancient practices like pranayama were essentially nervous system training. Without knowing the vagus nerve by name, ancient teachers understood its effect. This teaching rewires emotional response quickly and reliably. Instead of fighting thoughts, you regulate the body and let the mind follow. Science now uses breathwork in trauma therapy, anxiety treatment, and stress management, confirming what ancient wisdom already practiced. Number 7. Desire increases suffering. Ancient philosophies warned that uncontrolled desire leads to dissatisfaction. Gautama Buddha taught that craving creates restlessness and suffering. Modern psychology confirms this through hedonic adaptation. When desires are fulfilled, happiness returns to baseline, triggering new cravings. The cycle never ends. Ancient teachings didn't reject pleasure, they warned against attachment. When fulfillment is always placed in the future, peace stays out of reach. Reducing attachment rewires perception. Contentment increases not because life changes, but because expectation changes. Science now measures this effect through studies on well-being, gratitude, and acceptance. The ancient insight was accurate. Desire promises fulfillment, but often delivers dissatisfaction. Number 6. The present moment reduces anxiety. Ancient teachings emphasized living in the present moment. They observed that fear lives in imagined futures and regret lives in remembered pasts. Modern neuroscience confirms this pattern. Anxiety disorders are strongly linked to future-focused thinking, while depression is tied to rumination on the past. Mindfulness-based therapies now use present-moment awareness to treat both. Ancient practitioners understood this without clinical terminology. When attention stayed anchored in the present, mental distress decreased. This teaching rewires the mind by redirecting attention from imagined threats to immediate reality. Awareness stabilizes emotion. The present moment isn't spiritual poetry, it's psychological grounding. Science now validates what ancient observers lived daily. Number 5. Self-awareness improves decision-making. Ancient civilizations placed enormous value on knowing oneself. They observed that lack of self-awareness led to impulsive behavior and poor judgment. Modern psychology confirms this. Higher self-awareness improves emotional regulation, decision-making, and relationship quality. Ancient practices like reflection and meditation train people to observe their own patterns. Science now calls this metacognition. Without self-awareness, people mistake impulse for intuition. Ancient wisdom warned against this confusion long ago. Knowing yourself wasn't philosophical luxury, it was practical survival. This teaching rewires behavior by making reactions visible. Once patterns are seen, they can be changed. Science now supports this ancient insight fully. Number 4. Compassion improves mental health. Ancient traditions promoted compassion not just as a moral ideal, but as protection for the mind itself. Teachers observed that emotions like resentment, hatred, and envy slowly poison mental well-being. Compassion, on the other hand, stabilized the inner world. Modern neuroscience now confirms this observation. Compassionate thoughts and actions increase oxytocin, reduce stress hormones like cortisol, and improve emotional resilience. This isn't philosophy, it's biology. When the brain shifts from threat-based responses to connection-based ones, the nervous system calms down. That's why modern psychology uses compassion-based therapies to treat trauma, burnout, and depression. Ancient wisdom understood something critical. Compassion regulates emotion. It doesn't weaken you, it steadies you. What was once taught as virtue is now measured as neurological benefit. Different language, same truth, fully confirmed. Number 3. Discipline outperforms motivation. Ancient philosophies consistently valued discipline over emotional impulse. They understood something modern science now confirms. Motivation is unreliable. It rises and falls with mood, energy, and circumstance. Structure, however, remains. Modern behavioral science shows that habits outperform willpower because they reduce decision fatigue. Ancient practitioners trained discipline daily, not only when inspired. This made action automatic instead of negotiable. Discipline rewires behavior by removing constant internal debate. Life becomes simpler, energy stabilizes, stress decreases. Ancient wisdom never framed discipline as punishment. It was seen as freedom from inconsistency and chaos. When routines form, clarity increases because the mind isn't constantly resisting itself. Science now supports this fully. Systems outperform emotion. Consistency beats intensity. The principle hasn't changed, only the explanation has. Number 2. Identity shapes behavior. Ancient teachings warned against rigid identity because it restricts growth. Lao Tzu emphasized adaptability and release of ego, observing that clinging to labels creates suffering. Modern psychology confirms this through identity-based behavior models. People consistently act in ways that match how they see themselves. If someone identifies as weak, disciplined behavior feels unnatural. When identity shifts, behavior follows naturally. Cognitive therapies now use this principle intentionally. Ancient wisdom arrived at the same conclusion through observation. Fixed identity locks behavior in place. Flexible identity allows change. Neuroscience explains this through neural plasticity. The brain adapts to repeated self-perception. The insight remains timeless. Who you believe you are silently determines what you attempt, avoid, or persist through. Number 1. Inner peace is a skill. The most powerful ancient teaching that modern science now confirms is this: inner peace is trainable. Ancient meditation wasn't belief or ritual, it was conditioning the mind and nervous system. Modern neuroscience proves emotional regulation can be learned and strengthened through repeated practice. Brain plasticity shows that calm states, when practiced consistently, reshape emotional response over time. Peace isn't inherited, it isn't personality, it's skill. Ancient teachers knew this through experience, not data. Science now measures it clearly. This realization removes helplessness. If peace is a skill, it's accessible. Suffering isn't fixed, and calm isn't luck. It's built through training, repetition, and awareness. That convergence between ancient insight and modern science may be the most empowering truth of all. Modern science didn't replace ancient wisdom, it validated it. These teachings survived thousands of years because human nature hasn't changed. Stillness, compassion, discipline, flexible identity, and self-mastery remain foundational to mental well-being. If one of these insights stood out, take a moment to reflect on why. Like the video if it added value, share it with someone curious about deeper truth, and subscribe for more content where ancient knowledge meets modern science. The past still has answers now proven.